I found out I am pregnant, but my husband stayed silent while his mother demanded I prove him the father. I came to this sub because I want to tell this to somebody, and it seems that I can only keep it to myself. I cried for several hours. I am very scared and tired, so I think I will be rambling. I just want to put this somewhere, and my husband and his family don't know English, so this place makes me feel safe. I learned that I am pregnant this morning. I don't know how long that has been. I told my husband, and the next moment I knew he was happy. He told me he was glad and very happy. When he left to meet his parents, I opened the door today to my mother-in-law and him. He did not tell me she would come, and he knows I don't do well with announced visitors, especially of that importance. It was her second or third time at our apartment, but she acted like it was hers. She ordered me to sit, and I felt so anxious. My heart was beating so fast. It all felt so unsafe. I kept looking at my husband, but he never looked me in the eyes. He was looking at the floor or at his hands. His mother demanded a paternity test right after congratulating me. It felt so awful. She didn't say anything rude or bad, but it felt like she did. It felt like she called me a prostitute. I was shocked and kept trying to get my husband to look at me, but he would not. She noticed and ordered me to look at her, saying that her son would not help me. It felt so scary. She started threatening me with lawyers who are friends to their family. She told me that if I was smart, I would go with her to the clinic tomorrow, and this would all be over. It felt so awful. It felt like I was completely at the mercy of this woman. It felt like she could just grab me and put her hands inside me herself, and my husband would not protect me. The most disgusting part was that it felt like she somehow did that, like she somehow put her hands inside me and tainted whatever was there. Whatever I felt for my husband died at that moment. After the shock and fear, I felt disgusted with him. I felt sick sitting there. He looked so disgusting and pathetic, sitting there silent, not protecting me. It felt disgusting that I ever let him touch me, let him do this to me. All the love I had for him was tainted too. All I managed to say was that I needed time to decide. She told me there was nothing to decide. I told her that I was shocked and needed time. She said that this was what she was afraid to hear and that it was all very clear to her. It felt like I would throw up. I wanted to cry so badly, and my voice was shaking, but I didn't cry. She said she was sorry that it had to be this way, but gave me 3 days. My husband stood to see her out without saying a word to me. He went to see her in her car, and I was left alone. I immediately cried. I felt so scared. I felt like they could barge in and just take it out of me if they wanted, like they thought so little of me. Did my husband always think that I was cheating? Did they always look at me and think that I was unfaithful? Several times I tried to throw up because I was crying so hard. Why didn't my husband protect me? This is not who I married. The last time I felt so unsafe was when I was in my parents' home, and I vowed that I would never feel this way again. I married him because I felt like he could protect me, and he didn't. I still feel sick and disgusted for letting him touch me, for being pregnant by him. When I heard him come back, I locked the bathroom door and have been there ever since, crying. He didn't say a word to me. I am waiting for him to fall asleep, so I can fall asleep on the couch in the kitchen. I don't ever want to be in the same bed with him again. I may not think clearly, but I want a divorce. I will never feel safe with this man, and I would never love him again. I know for certain I will never be sure that he will protect me. I can't stay. The thing that makes me scared is that I want an abortion. It was the first thing I Googled. What I have inside me is his, and it ties me to him and to his mother. I want it out. While I was crying, I scratched my stomach unintentionally, and now it's all red and itching. I can't think about what is inside of me without crying in hysteria. I want out. I want to be safe. It's strange and cruel, but I don't feel bad for wanting a divorce. I will lose the future I wanted and all my friends, and I will have to start all over again, but I did it once when I left my birth home. I will do it again. I feel nothing towards what is inside of me. It reminds me of his mother, and it scares me. I want it out. I never thought about abortion before. I've never been around pregnant people much. Right now, I don't feel anything, but writing this post helped me calm down, and I sort of have a plan now. I don't know if I should move out first or go to a doctor first. I am afraid they will lock me up if they find out. For some reason, this reminds me of the time I left my parents, and my head feels clear. I am not so panicked anymore, and I mostly feel numb, but I was crying a lot earlier. I guess that's all I want, to sleep. I need to go to work tomorrow. I think that is good because I have the excuse to be out of the flat. I don't feel safe here. Thank you for listening. I have no friends to tell this to. I am 7 or 8 weeks pregnant. I have talked with my husband, but nothing useful came out of that. I have decided to divorce him. I am looking for flats, but not making active moves. We will go to the clinic on Friday to give samples for a paternity test. I am not sure about an abortion yet. I feel very numb. In short, that's how the situation is. Many people asked if I cheated and got downvoted. I think it is a fair question since they do not know me and I haven't mentioned it in the post. This post was more a way for me to collect my thoughts and to make believe I'm telling my story to a friend, so I didn't include every detail. I didn't know so many people would read it, so to answer that question, I have not cheated. My husband was my first partner and only, which is why it felt so disgusting not to receive any comment or reaction from him, because he knows about this. I fear this will be long, but there aren't many interesting things happening, so you can stop reading if you are worried for me. I'm okay. Thank you. Now, the first thing I have to say is that I feel strange. I don't really feel anything from the moment I woke up on Monday to this moment. I feel very numb. Nothing feels real. There was a small moment of feeling when I talked to my husband, but it was very brief. It doesn't feel right, but I feel okay. It's like I am a robot doing things and handling house chores on autopilot. I think that's a good thing. Maybe because I cried so much. My husband didn't leave the bedroom on Monday morning. He can work from home whenever he wants, so I think he decided to stay. I found myself quickly returning to an old routine I used to do as a teenager, waking up and trying to be as quiet as if I didn't exist so I wouldn't disturb anyone. It didn't feel right to me to feel the same way all these years later as an adult, but I couldn't make myself behave another way. So, I left for work quietly without saying a word. I received a lot of support on the train, reading your comments. Thank you for that. I kept reading while at work, researching clinics and paternity tests. Many of your comments were very helpful, and I used them to make a plan for myself. Near noon on Monday, I started receiving comments from people asking me not to end the pregnancy. Many said that I experienced a trauma response and am not thinking clearly. When I went to the ladies' room at work, I would place my hands on my belly and try to feel something, but I felt as numb as ever. I don't really feel anything but a little sense of disgust when I think about this pregnancy. I am sorry about that. I also looked at apartments because while I feel numb, I still feel very strongly that I want a divorce or at least a safe flat that is only mine. I can afford to move out now, and I can even afford to live on my own. I will have to cut some luxuries like dance classes and beauty appointments, and I won't be able to save money, but that is okay. I think the reason I felt so panicked about leaving was that when I left my parents, I had nothing, no money, no job, no diploma. I had to live with 3 other people in a small apartment, and I still didn't have enough money for food. Realizing that I can live somewhat comfortably on my own money has helped me to calm down, and now I feel numb even about a divorce. For now, my plan is to move out after we give the samples for the paternity test. I will probably have to wait until Monday or next Tuesday for my husband to go to the office, so I can pack my things. I also received messages about my response being traumatic and that my husband is also a victim and that my view of him is sexist, basically telling me we need to talk. I was planning to talk to him anyway, but those comments helped me formulate what I had to say. I am sorry, but I feel too tired to recreate the conversation. I will keep it short. If people want to read the full story, I will try to write it tomorrow on my way to work. In short, asterisk. 1. I asked him if he thought I cheated. He said not initially, but my reaction to his mother made him think I cheated. I told him I reacted that way because I was scared. He told me there was nothing to be scared about. We argued, and that went nowhere. 2. I asked him why he didn't protect me, and why he just let her in. In short, I learned that she gives him money for this flat. She basically pays for it. I didn't know that, so she had all the rights to just come in here. It made me feel very unsafe and lied to. My husband promised me that I would never see his mother again, and lied to me. 3. Because of these pointless arguments and people in the comments saying my expectations of him were unreasonable, I told him everything I thought about our situation, how I see our responsibilities to one another, and my history of abuse. I actually wrote it down before, because I wanted to have this conversation later. But it was that only moment when I didn't feel numb, but felt angry that I told him that. 4. I told him my terms. I agreed to the test, but I don't want to see his mother. I don't want to stay alone with her. I don't want her in this flat. We will go to all the appointments together, not with her. He agreed. That is all. I didn't tell him about the divorce or my thoughts about abortion. I don't feel safe doing that. I received many comments urging me to play along, and that is what I decided to do. I have some experience doing that. We went to bed. He asked me to come back to the bedroom or stay there, and he would take the couch, but it would feel disgusting to sleep in our bed. so I declined. I heard him speak on the phone to his mother, but couldn't make out the words. The next morning, I decided not to read any comments to have some time with myself. I wanted to use this day to understand how I feel about being pregnant. Sadly, I feel nothing. I felt nothing even at an appointment. Nothing felt real at the clinic and at home, like it was happening to another person. The doctor gave me recommendations, a list of medications, diet restrictions, and other doctors I have to go to. All those things look very alien to me, like it's all a pretend game. I don't think what I am feeling is okay, but it helps me to have a clear mind, so I am not worried about it. I decided to give my husband until Monday to do something to apologize or talk to me, anything. If not, I will definitely divorce him. As for the baby, I will not do anything about it until I move out. I miss the window when an abortion is done by a shot. Anything after that is invasive. I don't really feel anything towards being pregnant, and I will wait to see if that changes. That's the plan. Now, my husband's mother still makes me nervous. When I think about seeing her again, I feel scared. However, when I talked to my husband, he was very sure that he could keep her away until the results, so I don't know if my fears are reasonable. I don't know what else to say. I probably forgot something, and I will reply to comments tomorrow morning. I want to thank everybody for their support and advice again. It really helped me because I didn't feel so alone. I wish you all happy holidays, and I hope yours are nice, fun, and you spend them the way you wanted it. Update 2 asterisk. Hello, everyone. This is an update to my post, which is almost a month old now. As always, I wanted to say thank you for all the support and apologize for not updating sooner. My update was deleted, but things kept happening every day, and I was too exhausted to rewrite it. The main reasons were not only the family drama, but also my job. My boss didn't give me even one day off, so I had to do everything in the evening hours or weekends, which took a lot of time. December is a busy time in my line of work, so I often worked after hours and on weekends. In short, I am no longer pregnant. I live in my own very expensive apartment, but I am not legally divorced yet. I lost all my friends. They don't really have anyone else, but I'm okay. I don't want this to be long, so I won't repeat what I wrote in the deleted update. Maybe I can copy and paste it in the comments if people are interested. Writing down all that has happened feels like an impossible task, so please forgive me if it feels like some details are missing. I will try to stay in the comments and answer any questions because I feel like I owe you that after all the support I got here. In short, I decided to stay with my husband and play along until I find a new flat and get a paternity test done. My husband and I had a conversation. He refused to admit that his mother did anything wrong. He told me I acted guilty, and I found out that our flat has been paid for by his mother. My husband makes good money. He can afford this flat. He agreed to let his mother pay for it, so he could have more money for fun. It made me feel very unsafe and lied to. My husband promised me that I would never see his mother again, and lied to me. We had one visit to the doctor, with just me and my husband. When I arrived at the clinic to get the test done, my husband was not there, but his mother was. I feel ashamed remembering that I could not control my emotions at all. I called him crying, and he said he didn't break his promise because it is not a doctor's visit. They would just take our blood. He was late to his appointment. I was alone with his mother in the room, and I was crying the whole time. Nurses treated me badly. No one talked to me, only to her, and made faces when I made noises. Looking back, I see why they did that. It did look like I was a young and stupid girl who cheated, and is now paying for her choices, the way I acted. But I could not do anything about it. I had another episode where I had no thoughts, only panic, and could not control my emotions. Later, I found out that his mother paid for the test as well. I still don't know why he has enough money. After taking me home, he told me that I acted very inappropriately and he feels ashamed because he can't invite his mother home. He also told me that my behavior makes him feel like he doesn't want to stay married to me. Now, I feel even thankful for this comment. It snapped me out of my panic state. I felt a lot of shame for wanting a divorce, but this helped me understand that it is the right thing to do. In my last update, I wrote about how it felt like I was not fully there and that all of this is happening to another person. People told me that I am dissociating. This state caused me to make mistakes in my work, so I could not get a day off. But to be honest, I would like to stay dissociated because it is better than being constantly panicked and anxious, which was happening to me in the past weeks. I thought that when my husband and his mother would get the results, they would leave me alone, but I was wrong. When they learned that I was faithful, it got much worse. His mother basically moved in with us. It was hell. She was texting and calling me all the time, demanding to know when I would be home. In a way, I'm glad my job is so demanding because I had an excuse not to be in contact with her when I was working and to do some things after work without her being suspicious because I typically work more than 10 hours a day in busy months. However, I still had to sleep and spend evenings and weekends at home, and it was hell. She was with me all the time. She even waited outside the bathroom door for me and was knocking when I took too long. My husband said that she feels sorry and wants to show me that she cares because I look troubled, but to me, it didn't feel this way. I could not do anything because she made me feel so anxious. She started cleaning, cooking, and doing everything else, and she was not nice about it. She also forced me to sleep in the same bed as my husband, and those nights were horrible. I don't want to remember them at all. Thankfully, I moved out after 1.5 weeks, but because it is New Year, flats are very expensive. I can't stay in the flat I am renting right now long term. If I manage to make it until the end of the spring, I can rent something more affordable but not as cheap as flats will be in the summer. After 3 months, I will wait and see because of the situation with his mother. I only took the most important things, most of my clothes, books, little things I like stayed there, and I probably would not get them back, but I'm okay with it. When I moved, I just texted my husband, telling him that I don't feel comfortable with him, don't like how our life turned out, and don't want to live with his mother being with us constantly. That is why I want to separate. He sent me a lot of bad things, said a lot of unpleasant stuff, which made me cry when he asked if I wanted a divorce. I told him that having to sleep in the same bed with him again and enduring his touch made me understand that I do not love him anymore and feel disgusted. He told me that either I am cheating and got pregnant by him by chance, or I am completely wrong as a human being, really messed up. To be honest, I agree. I don't think it is normal to fall out of love this quickly, but I don't know why this happened. I guess I truly am a person who is very unwell. My husband demanded that I give him and his mother daily updates on my pregnancy, but by that time, I was sure I wanted an abortion, so I had to move quickly. I won't describe in detail what happened, but I would like to give advice and thank those who gave me that advice. Get someone to be with you while doing that. The first time trying to get the procedure, the woman at the reception told me that I had to give them my husband's written consent, which made me so scared and panicked again. I could not think clearly. Later, listening to the advice I got from some people here, thank you so much. I searched for groups that help women in hard life situations, and one of them helped me. They gave me a volunteer who was just with me during this. She told me that it's not legal for them to ask me that, and that there are a lot of tricks they use to make women waste time without her. I would have been so lost. I am so thankful a lot of people were invested in my pregnancy and told me that I should keep it, that my wanting the abortion is a trauma response, and I would feel guilty and bad after the procedure. I understand that they wanted the best for me, and I am sorry to say, but I don't feel bad at all. Honestly, despite the pain and the general feeling of being ill, which is still with me today, I felt much better after the procedure mentally. I placed a lot of my attention on the divorce itself, thinking that it would put an end to my state of panic, but it turned out that ending the pregnancy was what I needed. I know it sounds bad, but I want to be truthful. My reasoning is that if it is a trauma response, this child does not deserve a mother like me, and I am apparently a deeply unwell person who can't control when I would become motionless and full of fear or fall out of love in a day. So, I won't be a good mother to anyone. I have to say with all certainty that my husband's mother does not deserve to have children in her care. I know I was emotional back then, but now I am sure she has grown out of the same things my parents are stuck in. I can just feel it. I should have been wiser and seen it before. I have some thoughts on why I haven't and why I didn't see the way my husband would be, but I need to think about it some more. I texted my husband that I am no longer pregnant, and for now, I'm ignoring his calls and texts. I can't deal with that. As I said, all my friends are his friends, and his mother told everyone on her Instagram that I was pregnant without my permission, so all of them knew that I was pregnant and probably know that I ended it. By now, some of our friends, mostly women, reached out to me after I moved and were offering support, but nobody texts me now, and 2 of them unfollowed me on Instagram. I knew that would happen, and I'm okay with that. I never had friends. I was always a weird person, but still, having people to talk to and hang out with was nice, and I feel sad thinking about what they must think of me now. But these are not my friends, so I have to leave. That's all I have on my mind now. I probably forgot something again. I am mostly in bed today, trying to get better, because I have to work next week with overtime as well. Thank you again for all your well wishes and advice. You helped me in all of this, because I didn't feel so alone. I wish you all happy holidays, and I hope yours are nice, fun, and you spend them the way you want to.